Welcome to EP Daily, coming to you from Kensington Gardens in London, England. And today on the show, we're taking a look at Disney's new Man Cub in the Rundown.
Plus, Jose straps on the new HTC Vive virtual reality headset.
And then we have more virtual reality with a new look at the Oculus Rift. Also coming up, we head to infinity and beyond with the latest Toy Table segment. Jose and Sophia watch a board game come to life with Armello, and much more today on EP Daily. Brought to you by EB Games. I'm your host, Victor Lucas, bringing you the latest on everything cool every single day. This will take brains, not brawn, but luckily I'm loaded with both. Here's your rundown. It appears that making new live-action movies based around old animated films is one of Disney's bare necessities. Take a look at the new adaptation of Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book, which Disney first turned into an animated movie back in 1967. This one is directed by Iron Man's Jon Favreau, and despite the fact that it's live-action, most of the animals are being created with computer animation. Like most Disney movies, there's an all-star vocal cast, including Bill Murray as Baloo, Idris Elba as the villainous Shere Khan, Scarlett Johansson as a much more hypnotic version of Kaa, and Christopher Walken as the orangutan King Louie, who for some reason is now the size of King Kong. The Jungle Book will hit theaters in April 2016. And another classic animated movie might be making the jump into live action. The Dark Knight, Inception, and Interstellar director Christopher Nolan is rumored to be producing the long-in-development live-action remake of Akira. The original anime version tells a trippy cyberpunk story in a post-apocalyptic Tokyo, and Warner Brothers has been struggling to get a live-action adaptation off the ground for years. If Nolan really is taking over as a producer, he could be just the thing it needs to get it off the ground. We'll let you know if more details come in. Nolan is also set to direct a mysterious new film of his own. Warner Brothers has set a release date of July 21st, 2017, but no title or any other information has been given. Fingers crossed for Inception 2. We're talking about some big movies that we don't know a whole bunch about right now, except Jungle Book, I guess, is kind of familiar in the Disney space. Here's Marissa Roberto to join me. We've got kind of our own Jungle Book going on behind us here.
There are an alarming amount of ducks and birds, and I have to say that I'm terrified.
I wouldn't be surprised if Bill Murray just pops up and shows up here, too. He is, I think, the biggest reason why I'm excited to see a Disney live-action thing. I love that guy's droll delivery.
Sure. I mean, Idris Elba, though. We love him.
And I love Idris Elba, yes.
Right? And
yes.
I think that he's going to make a pretty sweet villain.
Yeah.
I think we know that he can do that very well.
Yep.
I was never thinking that I would ever see a live-action Jungle Book. I don't know if I ever really wanted it, but Jon Favreau, I think, will do a good job.
Yeah. He knows how to play to the kids. He did Elf, and he did a great job with that, and he obviously understands visual effects.
It's strange now because we're living in a different world where things are a little more touchy, like people are a little more sensitive, and I think that Jungle Book has a lot of, there's a lot of racism.
There's some sensitivity issues there for sure, 100%. You know, I think, though, at the end of the day, it has to be a modern take, and it has to be a new movie that we see with fresh eyes. And
you know what? I'm going to go to the movies with you. I'm sure we'll have a great time, hopefully.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm expecting a lot.
All right, well, let's move on to something that's a little bit more future sort of tense and, every sense of the word. Yeah, and sci-fi. We're talking about a Neo-Tokyo with Akira, and now that Christopher Nolan is rumored to be attached. Now, this isn't confirmed. There's not a lot confirmed about an Akira live-action movie, except for the fact that they have been trying to build this thing forever.
Well, if anybody can handle a complex story, I think this guy can,
Yes.
although sometimes he makes it a little too complex.
Now, I've also heard rumblings that they're working on a trilogy, that they're going to try to stretch this out, because everybody wants to see those bikes in real life. I think he is now coming off of Interstellar. It's going to be very interesting to see his next moves as a director. He's basically got an open checkbook, I think, over at Warner Brothers to do whatever he damn well wants to. Hats off to Christopher Nolan. Looking forward to whatever he's got cooking up next. But right now, we've got to go to some live action in our faces with the HTC Vive. This is the VR partnership that they've got with Valve. So let's take a look.
Virtual reality has hit it big over the last few years, but now I finally got to take a look at the HTC Vive, and this thing is out of this world. Tell me what separates this from the other VR out there.
Well, the HTC Vive is a full room scale, 360 coverage virtual reality experience where you can basically be moving around in a very large volume of space. You can scale to a seated experience. You can go in a small volume of space, but you are tracked in your full space and you're moving all around. You're interacting with your content. It's the most amazing virtual experience you can possibly have.
How did you guys realize that this was something that could be done correctly? I mean, there's a lot of VR. It's just throw on a headset, you're in this 3D world, but what made you guys want to take it to that whole in-room experience?
Well, that really came through in the partnership with Valve and Steam VR and what they were working on with their tracking solution and the Lighthouse base stations and making that all come together. So, we were working on VR. We were trying to come up with some solutions that really were working well for us, very compelling, and then we got to meet Valve. Our leadership teams met, and we started working very quickly together on something that was truly magical.
As working on the project, what's the coolest reaction you've seen from people who have gotten to try it or may have tried VR before, and then they come out of this experience and they're just like, oh.
Well, it's just like what you just what you described. That's how a lot of people come out of it. Some people come out of it just they have to think. Everything's just been flipped on its head. Storytelling's been flipped on its head. Gaming has been changed. It's a lot of fun to watch that reaction, and everybody has a different experience. When we do our demos, there are a series of different experiences. Everybody resonates with something different. Everybody comes out of it with a different reaction, and that's that moment we love to capture.
What do you think it is about the timing where virtual reality is such a big prevalent thing in the industry now, and it's actually working correctly?
The promise is here, the reality's here, the technology's here. Not only the headset HMD technology, but the tracking technology, the input technology, it's all coming together all at the right time. And then you also have that other big missing piece, the content. And the content developers are really getting an understanding of it. They understand the complexities of it, the challenges of it. They're ready to start designing for it and solving all those problems. So it is kind of an alignment of the moons, and people are starting to all come together and work on it.
The Vive comes out in early 2016 with all the other VR stuff that's going to be coming out.
The year of VR, 2016.
Decision.
I can't wait to visit somebody's house where they have all the VR. That's going to be a very full house. And we've got more VR later in the show, but after the break, we're reviewing Armello.
Hi, my name's Craig McLeod, and I'm one of the producers on Star Wars Battlefront. So my favorite Star Wars moment, it has to be the Battle of Hoth. It's such an incredibly memorable moment from my childhood, seeing those huge AT-AT walkers coming in, watching the rebellion try and resist against it.
Good shot, Jansen!
Tow cabling those AT-ATs with snow speeders and trying to get those transports to escape. That is definitely my most memorable Star Wars moment. And all of this you will be able to play within Star Wars Battlefront when it comes to launch on November 17th, 2015.
Very nice work, Mr. Craig McLeod. You're going to be making some Star Wars memories for other people of your own.
That's right. Listen, Vic, we've got to go all the way from Notting Hill to San Francisco in the United States of America. Here is Jose and Sophia with Armello.
I don't know about you, Jose, but I'm a fan of tabletop games where you get to be social, everyone's sitting in a room, and then when you're playing it online, everything is automated for you, and you might be missing that social aspect, but it's definitely a key component in playing a tabletop type of game. And that's what Armello is about. You're playing like a virtual board game. It's with anthropomorphic animals, and the whole point of it is to, win the game, and there's several different win conditions. But what did you think? Like, how did you enjoy it?
I do like the fact that there are different win conditions, like you mentioned. You can go through and you can just outrot the king, which if you want to try that,
Yes,
go
you
ahead,
can.
which is very dangerous.
Or you could try to purify the king by collecting all 4 spirit stones throughout the map.
Which I tried to do. It takes a long time.
It does. But the last game I played with 3 other people. I was able to gather the stones. But then getting into the castle is tricky business.
Oh yeah,
Because it gets thrown out every single
because the
time.
king's minions are not there to mess around. They will stop you at all costs, and they are strong too. And they have a dice roll mechanic when you're into these fights, which sometimes you can win, sometimes you can't. You can burn some of the cards because they have cards in this game. We'll either give you spells or items, or you can do some trickery. because who doesn't love a little bit of trickery?
The game is surprisingly deep because it has a lot of things to keep track of. There's a really great intro to the game. It comes with a little story.
Yeah.
But trying to figure out what all the cards mean, it requires a lot of reading. The font's really, really tiny, so when you're playing on the PS4,
It's literally this big.
you need to go all the way right up to the TV to figure out what's going on. And you have to read it because that's when you find out all the little nuances to the game. Because I was just burning cards, using whatever I could use. It
Without a care,
helping. Yeah,
right?
without a care. I was like, oh, I'll just see how this works. It
This has
doesn't.
the icon of the thing I need. I'll just go ahead and
Yeah,
burn
let's
it.
do
Wait,
it.
that gave me what?
I really think the strength of the game is playing with other people. It's 4 players. It's on a.
Definitely. Other people who also have no idea what the font says. Because they show you the cards and you get it for a second, and for the brief instant where you get the card, the font's decent size, you can look at it, but then going back and trying to read what it says, and you bring it up into the screen, it's 10 times smaller than it was, and
You're like, wait, what?
+4, minus, give me some right. I don't care, whatever. Let's use it.
Yeah, it was originally on the PC, Steam Early Access, and now the full version's out on PS4, so it may have been designed for if you're right up against that monitor. But the art style's great. I really like it, and it had a really cute story to kind of get you going. I mean, the story doesn't really matter once you get into the multiplayer aspect of the game. It's really just about
No
backstabbing your
friends.
friends.
Yeah, no friends whatsoever.
No.
Take out the king. Or your friends.
Pretty much. So, yeah, you have to play with friends. Otherwise, yeah, just take on the computer, and they're not very nice.
No. You can either play mean computer or mean friends. I mean, either way, it sets you up for, just a mean game.
Yeah, mean. Yeah. So, did you like it? What do you give it?
I did. I had a good time playing Armello. I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10.
I'm also giving it a 7.5.
From one card game to another, we're moving from Armello to...
Yes, it's called Splendor, and this one's a little different.
EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by Gameloft, makers of Asphalt 8 Airborne, which you can play on your Android or iOS device for free right now.
Before starting this gig on Reviews in the Run, I actually was a jewel trader. That's why I wanted to play Splendor.
Is it because you're a gypsy?
It's because I'm a gypsy, yes!
Explain how this
How
thing
this game
works.
works,
Okay, I want to
okay.
hear how you're going to explain how this game works
This
for
is
people.
going to be a little bit difficult to explain.
Yeah, because you're looking at little gemstones along the
Yeah.
side, and then you've got a bunch of numbers in different corners, and then you've got cards that have numbers on them and a stone on them,
That's
and
right.
and somehow the equation is you got to put them all together to get the most points.
Well, to get 15
Prestige points, yes.
Prestige points, but that's just one game mode. There
Yeah.
are plenty of other game modes
And
here
challenges as well.
And challenges. Now, you can only have 10 gems at one time,
Yeah.
but for one turn, you can only pick up 3 gems, but they have to be 3 different colored gems. If you want to pick up 2 of the same color gems, you can only pick up 2 at a time, but only if there are more than 3 gems placed on the side of the board. I'm trying to explain this and make it not sound boring.
You can't.
but
That's the
you
thing with
can't.
this game. It's great. It's a really cool, addictive game. Just get it. Just play it a bunch.
It is.
And then one day, it will just go, whoa, I get this, and it's cool, and I won the damn game, and you feel like
And it
a
just
king.
and it happens to you really off of the first game because
Yeah.
they match you up if you're playing against the computer.
No,
of
I
course.
lost a few times.
Okay. Well,
I didn't get any of it. I was like, what are all these numbers? What are these things in the corner? Boo! I'll play it again.
like Marissa never gets to pick a game ever again.
But then, after a few times to get my butt kicked, and I was like adding things up, I was like, oh, I get this, and this,
Right.
then you can't stop
It all
playing
makes
it.
sense, yeah. And you have an ability on the side
Yes.
that if you match up, if you get that many numbers of gems that
Look,
they are
you're
looking
trying to
for.
explain it again.
I'm sorry,
it's,
but
it's ridiculous.
I'm
This
sorry.
is it fun?
But they get attracted to you, like they're
Yeah.
excited for you. They congratulate you. They want
Yeah,
to be
and
on
then
your
they
side.
give you more prestige
And
points.
Exactly, and then that's how you get ahead. Look, I love games like this. I love Settlers of Catan. I
Yeah.
love Carcassonne. I love these games on my iPad because really, this is what the iPad is for. It's for these awesome little card games you can play
And it's
digitally.
a social game too, because you can play up to 4 people. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, good luck explaining the rules to 3 other people.
It's true.
But you can gather around an iPad and play it that way. You can also
Yeah,
have
I
a
don't like that, though.
solitaire-like experience and just play it solo against the AI.
The only thing that I don't like about this game is its very blah look. Even in the menus,
I think they did a pretty good job with what they had to deal with. I think they animated the cards flipping and flying. It's not Hearthstone with all
It's
of its
not
incredible
Hearthstone.
back and forth
That's the
dialogue
thing,
and
yeah.
the flashiness. But if you want to break from Hearthstone or you want kind of a more jewels and card type of experience, if that's what you've been looking for. Splendor.
Who's looking for a jewels and card experience?
No, I wasn't, but I ended up loving this game. I was really impressed with Splendor.
Absolutely. This is one of those games you can actually show to your family and they can get into
just
as
don't
well,
explain
so.
anything because
Just
it's
let
just
the
going to
ga-
watch the eyes.
Let the
just
game
roll
do
back.
the talking.
8 out of 10 for me. How about you?
Yeah, gets an 8 for me too. Splendor is so popular that yes, it has now been ported to the PC, so PC gamers, get on it. Trade those jewels.
All right, we've got the toy table after the break, and guess what? It's more Star Wars.
My! Now I've got bed to watch.
Remind me to never get in a mess like this again.
Odds have survived this.
Shut him up or shut him down.
What can I say? Like you, I've got Star Wars on the brain. I'm excited as heck for the new Star Wars Force Awakens movie, and I'm also thoroughly enjoying Disney Infinity 3.0. We've got a couple of characters that are just coming to market right now, Han Solo and Chewbacca. They are definitely interpreted for the Disney look. They're cartooned and less about kind of the character likeness that you would see with Harrison Ford and Peter Mayhew's interpretation of Chewbacca, and more kind of, you get the feel of the characters and the vibe of the characters in the Disney kind of world. What's interesting, and I love these two sculpts, by the way, I'm a big fan of just these as collectible items. That's why I'm featuring them on the toy table. We talk about the game all the time on this show, but it's the figures that I think make Disney Infinity really special. I love these designs. With Star Wars Rebels, we've got Kanan, and we've got Sabine, we've got Ezra, and we've got Zeb. They look like great interpretations of the actual characters you see on the animated show. They look very much like they've just been scaled right from the show. All of the characters are badass in the game, all of them. So the sculpts have to kind of reflect their ability to fight, but also their personalities. For example, Obi-Wan is a little bit more of a thinker. He's kind of stepping back and he's kind of checking out the situation before he leaps into battle. A little bit similar here with Yoda, which is my favorite of these current Star Wars figures. I just love this character. I love the Yoda design in the Clone Wars, so I'm really ecstatic that I have an awesome little action figure. I got to commend all of the creators at Disney and also Avalanche Software, where this whole idea came from. They've done a great job at bringing us toys that come to life in the games.
Punch it.
Vic, I just need to prepare myself. How many toy tables featuring Star Wars am I going to have to watch here?
We've had top scientists work out this number. It's many. We're going to do many Star Wars toys. But speaking of toys, you got a pretty cool Oculus Rift demo earlier this year.
I did.
And we got some incredible B-roll footage of you. Let's take a look.
Great. I just finished an insane demo with the Oculus Rift, and I've tried it before, but this is the first time I've actually been fully immersed in it, and in games that are actually ready to go. And I don't know how to describe it to people out there that have never tried it before. So can you help me out, Nate? This is your baby.
I can try. So the Oculus Rift is a new virtual reality system, totally immerses you in the gaming experience. It's sort of like stepping inside the game for the very first time and almost living the experience. So for most people, it is, like you said, unlike anything they've ever tried before. It kind of gets your heart racing. It's something totally different, and we're really excited to get it out to gamers next year.
I still am shaking from it because it feels so real, and I understand it's virtual reality, but you just feel like you're completely dropped into this world, and you can't even believe it, almost.
I think it's always surprising, even for me, dropping into VR, only because it's so powerful. The way we're able to drive your perceptual system with the Rift, it's an experience unlike any other. And one of my favorite things personally is actually sharing it with other people here at the show. I remember I put my mom in the Rift for the first time once we sort of crossed the threshold of like really delivering presence, that powerful feeling like you're really truly there. And she came out and she was like almost just like in tears, like crying in shock. And she was also like on the ledge of a building, which was pretty terrifying. But it's a powerful, visceral experience. And I think once you've had it, it's hard to go back.
With the Oculus, we can use an Xbox controller, of course, but you guys also have another control system that you're going to be implementing soon as well.
Yeah, so we're going to be bundling the Xbox One wireless gamepad with the Rift. We're super excited about that. All the games over the last 2.5, 3 years that have been in development for the Rift are designed for a gamepad, and so we're really excited to bundle one of the best ones out there, bar none. And then the other input mechanism that you mentioned is Oculus Touch, and we're debuting Oculus Touch for the first time here at E3. It's a pair of track controllers designed very specifically for VR that open up this totally new set of experiences and genres. It's the ability to reach out into the world and interact with objects in a supernatural, intuitive way. You can pick up blocks, you can play ping pong, you can do communicative stuff, like I can, point at things in the world, I can give you like a hey, no, 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 I can give you a thumbs up. So Oculus Touch is something we've been working on for a really long time. We think it's going to unlock a whole new generation of VR games, and with the gamepad, plus Oculus Touch, it covers a pretty wide range of both like third, first person strategy games, all this stuff that are going to be possible in the Rift. I hope that we deliver games and experiences that people really, really love. I think we're already seeing the beginnings of that. Even at the Oculus office playing through the E3 builds, we were competing with each other playing VR Sports Challenge for days and weeks before the show. So I think we're just starting to see sort of the power of VR. We'll see how excited and fired up people get about it.
VR face, it's a thing. It's a real thing coming at you.
Oh, that's nice. That was a nice impression.
No, that's
also, watching people with VR face, that's a thing.
Yes.
That's you. That was you
I know,
while I was doing my little demo there. Don't go anywhere because after the break of the Twitter question of the day.
Yep. If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to EP Daily. It is now time for the best part of today's show, to the Twitter question of the day. This one comes from our good buddy, Kyle Chenard. What is up, dude? He asked, Sony celebrating 20 years of PlayStation. What was your favorite PlayStation 1 game?
Oh, what an excellent question, Kyle. I'm going to say Wipeout because I have this very, romantic remembrance of that game launching with the platform.
Did you make love to your Wipeout?
No, but it was just such a beautiful experience. It was so cool. So it's romanticized remembrance. Let's say that. That's better, right? And I also
you
loved...
lit some candles while you played.
I did. I lit some candles. We got it on. But I also love Metal Gear Solid, of course. The very first game was amazing. How about you?
I don't have a deep play experience with PlayStation 1. I was definitely a Nintendo fangirl at that time. But I do have to call out my boy, Parappa the Rappa, because I love that style of game.
Is he your boy?
He's my boy.
All
I
right.
like to dress up as Parappa sometimes. I don't even mean to. It just happens.
We know that about you.
Oh, yeah.
Good question, Kyle. If you've got one for us or you want to get caught up on the show, epn.tv is where you go.
More coming for you in the next episode of EP Daily, including a look at the PlayStation 4 version of Broforce.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
EP would like to thank its sponsors, Nintendo, Xbox.
It's about freedom, it's about cooperation. You see a cage, there's a bro inside, you bust that cage open, you free the bro, you teamwork your way to freedom. It's a game about passion. It's about love. It's about taking fair use as far as you can take it. Rambro, Brobocop, Bromando, they're all here in original bro form.
Delicious.